Good day, everyone. Today I'm talking to Shihab Muhammed, who's the founder and CEO of SurveySparrow. Good day, Shihab. How are you?
I'm pretty good, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity. A pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. You're most welcome, Shihab. Thank you for giving us your time despite your busy schedule. I know it is COVID season, and you have a lot more organizing to do with a lot of staff working, from their homes and things of that sort. So thank you despite those challenges, giving us your time. Are you happy for me to move into our first question?
Yeah, obviously.
Thank you. Shihab, can you please share a little about yourself, the place you were born, your education, your passion, the things that you enjoy doing, and one thing that the public might not know about you?
I've been really fortunate throughout my life. So I born in Kozhikode. Kozhikode is where the Portuguese is landed in India, and this is in Kerala, state of India. And I did my schooling in Kozhikode itself, and then I did my engineering from Cochin University. And the good part with my engineering was I got selected into Zoho. Zoho was one of India's best SaaS company, a bootstrapped company, and worldwide known. And that was one of the turning points. Also, I got into Zoho, and that's where I met Girish Madhubudam, founder of Freshworks, and that also became a turning point in my life. So I worked for 4.5 years in Zoho, and after that one, when Girish wanted to start Freshdesk, so I became the employee number 3rd at Freshworks, which is another unicorn out of India in SaaS, and probably one of the biggest unicorn out of India, right? And I throughout my life, I was very fortunate to work in companies of product companies, right? My starting in Zoho, and then I spent from almost so in Freshworks we were having a 100 square feet room. 4 of us, we used to touch each other. So that small room we were working, and from there to today is like 3,000 plus employee company. So I have seen from almost zero to a billion-dollar company, right? So, and personally, about me is like, okay, I like I'm a foodie, especially in fish. So I love eating fish. So that's something is like which many people might not know, but people who are very close to me, we always go and find the restaurants with good fish. So
Excellent. Shihab, thank you for sharing that. So I think when you visit Australia next time, we'll have to make sure we take you to the best restaurants that cater to fish delicacies.
Yes, that is something.
Thank you, Shihab. Shihab, moving on to our next question, can you please share about your work experiences before you started SurveySparrow, which you touched on, Zoho and the other companies you work for, but in particular, what lessons have you brought forth from your previous work experiences into SurveySparrow?
Some of those things is like Zoho will teach you how to fly high and being grounded, right? That is something Zoho will teach you, right? But still being grounded, you will do a lot of technical work. And I was a lead developer over there, and then I moved into, or I got the opportunity to be the employee number 3 at Freshworks, which is like, there was no company, there was no product, nothing. Then we all were building something. And also like we have to sacrifice our salaries. Obviously, as a startup, you can't expect your previous salary and to take a huge cut and then be part of that. And that is one of the reason is like that we took some risk there. And we never expect the company to be a billion-dollar company, but fortunately it became a huge success. And part of the reason is the more than money which brought along with that one. Obviously, as you pursue your passion, money will follow you. But at the same time, beyond money, the experience which teaches you, right? So when you spend 5 to 6 years in a startup which are actually growing like a rocket ship, it is equal to experience of probably 30 years or 40 years you're spending somewhere else, right? So that is something which I will never forget as like, and that is something is like which I still value, because those kind of experiences and those kind of environments you cannot recreate always, right? So that is once in lifetime opportunities, right? So the huge learning from coding to, so if you ask me about Freshworks, that's where I changed. I used to change my job title every 6 months to 1 year. The reason being, in a fast growing startup, I used to tell people that when it's like building like Lego blocks, right? So you know how to pass your Lego blocks to the next person, right? You have all the Legos ready, and you are actually building a Lego block you are building, and by the time is like next person is coming, if you are not, it's a marathon. You will have to pass it to next person and then move into the next building, right? But many people will have that as like too much love on what they are building, and then they'll try to hold on it, right? But then it's like, okay, that's actually is like a hindrance for your own growth. People are not understanding, because unless you leave your chair, how do you like unless you are leaving your chair to someone else, you will not go to the next chair, right? So that's how it's like, okay, so this building the Lego blocks and the leaving your Lego blocks to someone else, right? So that is the biggest learning I learned in Freshworks. And I tell people who wanted to grow very fast, learn to leave things on the table, not hold with you, right? So people who are okay to leave things on the table, they will move faster than or along with the company. Otherwise, the company has to anyway move on. Just because the company is funded, obviously it has to move fast. And unless you are not able to run as fast as the company, obviously somebody else has to come and take that particular position.
Interesting points, Shihab. Like, one is you got that opportunity, unique opportunity to be part of Zoho's journey, and amazing that it's actually a unicorn that has come out of India. And, as you mentioned, it's $1 billion company, if I'm not wrong. And to be part of that initial team is such a great honor or a privilege and an opportunity, isn't it? And not everyone gets that opportunity. So that is definitely something very positive. The second is like, your idea of that comparison of Lego blocks. So basically, you do your part and you don't hold on to it, but create such a product or a service that others can also contribute and contribute their what do you call technical know-how or ideas into that. So that's also it's kind of like a versatile thinking, isn't it? So you're not really holding on to something, but you're letting go so that others can also play a part in it. And you're also learning through that process and also moving forward with your career as well. So it's an interesting, I don't think many people will actually share that perspective, because some people would say, it's your baby, your product, your company, you need to put your brains and your heart and head into it and hold on to it, and you don't really open up to other ideas. You know what I mean? So it's a very fresh, it's good that you're part of Freshdesk. It's a very fresh idea, and it's very encouraging and positive. Thank you for sharing that.
Pleasure.
And Shihab, moving on to our next question. So can you please tell me, when did you start SurveySparrow, and what was the inspiration behind this entrepreneurial venture?
That's a very interesting story. So I used to get a lot of feedbacks. One from, I do have a great relationship with my bank relationship manager, whereas like they used to ask me for feedback. One. Number two was like we used to do employee feedback surveys in my previous companies, right? So, but I was but I do have good friends who are sitting on the other part of the team, whereas like HR team, or is like even the relationship manager at a bank, right? So all of them are very close to me, and I am very fast in responding to them via WhatsApp or Hangout, right? While I never used to take even a single survey, because it was not engaging at all, right? It was really boring big forms which you need to fill, right? That's the perspective you get it the moment you are thinking about the survey or a feedback, right? Because it's like that, honestly. It's like the reason being, the majority of the players in the market who are doing the feedback, who are collecting the feedback, are built in the if you really take their founding years as 1999, 2003 or 2005, right? That's a desktop era, right? And you can't blame them, because they started their companies at a desktop era, and obviously it's like they will be designed for a desktop, right? While I was very fast in giving this, and that got me thinking, right? So why am I so fast in WhatsApp and Hangout, while on the other side, I'm not even willing to click on that link where they already sent me, right? So the reason being, it was not engaging. Then I was just thinking, why can't this be like a conversation, right? So it has to be a conversational thing. It has to be, why can't it be like a chatty, right? So because in 2016, especially, like the chatbots were coming up, we are seeing a lot of success. Slack is becoming huge success, then Intercom is becoming a success. Then you could see is like WhatsApp is actually taking over the Facebook one, right? So if you take at some point, WhatsApp has got 1.6 billion users, while Facebook has got only 1 billion users. Even Facebook Messenger has got 1.2 billion users, right? So it was all giving you one signal. The signal was this one: the world is changing. The world is changing towards a chatty. It's not no more as like, okay, big forms with a lot of questions, big email with a lot of bureaucracy. That's not the way forward, right? Because people are the new generation X, Y, and Z is coming into the mainstream, and they don't want to do all these bigger things, right? They wanted to be to the point, to the like exactly, just ask the only the matter, to the point kind of thing. That trend was keep coming, right? So, and it was not just trend, it was actually showing the result of Slack, showing the result of Intercom, showing the, so too many is like messaging things were happening, right? So I started analyzing why is it happening, right? So it's a shift in generation, right? When it is happening, obviously even the feedback has to be very engaging, conversational, and chatty, right? That's where the thought of survey, why can't the surveys also be a little chatty, conversational, a little more human, right? The thought behind it. And then what I did is, like in Indian mythology, you have this parrot speaking into human, right? So I thought of like, why can't we survey parrot? But unfortunately, I didn't get that domain. And then I started searching for the well-known bird, and that's how Sparrow came in. That's how SurveySparrow was born.
Good on you, Shihab. I wouldn't be surprised, a lot of entrepreneur startups, like, they look for the domain and they realize someone else has taken it. Okay, what's the best next place to go for? But, that pain point that you identified, Mohammed, is such an important thing, isn't it? You kind of realize that, there was a section of the community or society or the world in total who were really not engaging with the old way of surveys and all those kind of things, and you kind of realize that there is a market for it. So identifying that market early on and capitalizing on it is such a crucial thing, for any business. And you come across as a person who really saw that opportunity and took hold of that opportunity. So good on you for doing that, and thank you for sharing that journey. And Mohammed, moving on to our next question. Can you please share about SurveySparrow's unique product offerings? I believe you touched on this in your previous answers, but what makes SurveySparrow stand out in comparison to the competition out there for your customers?
So obviously it is a highly engaging surveys or highly engaging feedback collection. That's the unique selling point for SurveySparrow. And see, I have seen as like one of the customer. So what we are seeing is general industry standard for a feedback collection is in the range of 10 to 15% response rate. While we have seen customers, one person came and told us like, okay, I got 90% response rate. I was like, what? Are you serious? Because I myself never believe that it can get you to 90%. But what we are seeing is our average is around 40 to 60%, right? Many of our customers are. So which means is like we can do much more, much better when you make it a lot more engaging. The reason for this one is, see, most of the time the feedback feedback you are getting is free of cost, right? It is not every customer. The moment you leave the hotel, you will get an SMS or an email, rate us, right? How was your experience, right? So it is completely free. So when somebody is giving you something is free, at least you should make sure that when their life is easier, right? How they take the survey, they should not feel like, okay, this is going to be crap, right? When you make that feeling, they will not do it. But if you make it like, oh, it is amazing, it's make that experience of your customer to give you the feedback the best possible one, because that's the best thing you can do for when somebody is willing to put their time for free of cost, right? So that's a whole the USP for the SurveySparrow.
Excellent, Shihab. And it's very encouraging, isn't it? A simple thing in terms of concept, surveys, and you have built a business around that. And so it comes to that question, Shihab, why do you think surveys are so important?
So though we started just as a survey, is like today is like, okay, we are an omni-channel feedback platform as such, right? So basically, see, there is a huge shift is happening, right? So today you and I will check Google reviews or like TripAdvisor reviews before going into any place, right? Or before you go to even restaurant, before you go to book your holiday destination or doing anything, right? Because today is like everything is online, right? So today you first check online and then only you will decide. So basically this means customer experience is the new marketing, right? So today is like, okay, somebody is like, okay, so there is a shift is happening across the world. The shift from a manufacturing economy into a subscription economy, right? So today in US, almost nobody buys car upfront. They're actually subscribing for the car, right? My friends in US is like, okay, they are actually driving a BMW or this one is like for $200 or $250 a month. After 6 months, if they want to change, they will go and change into, for example, today they are using a BMW, tomorrow they can get a Merc for the $250 or $300 or whatever they think, right? So basically the concept of capital expense or is like the capex is actually gone away, especially on this kind of. So basically if you buy a car upfront with all the money, obviously you will have to stick with that one at least 6 years, then only it will make sense for you, right? So just like that everywhere. For example, software is the first one which is moved into a subscription economy, right? Today Salesforce almost invented the subscription economy in cloud, right? So they gave the software products as cloud and then they started getting only. So basically the initial cost of starting a product is gradually come down over the period, which is against the old idea of it's like you manufactured something and you are selling that product, right? Now it is like it's more of a subscription. So it's a new term of service economy, but at the same time it is a subscription economy. Now you actually analyze this paradigm shift which is happening, right? When you clearly look at the shift which is happening, switching cost is low, right? So today you are using, just like I told, like you are using BMW, tomorrow you wanted Merc, right? What is your switching cost? $250. And that $250 is actually way lower than your $30,000 or $40,000, which you might need to put upfront to buy a new car, right? So now what will happen? Now today is like, okay, you don't worry about the money as such, right? Because you are going to be in, so switching cost is low. When switching cost becomes low, what is one thing which is going to help you to stick with something? Or in my word is like, okay, what is the probability of keeping that customer along with you for long? Only thing is experience, right? So when you give a amazing experience to your customer, right? Obviously it's like we wanted to keep with the they will stay with the brand, right? Today Amazon has got a NPS score or loyalty score, net promoter system. Our platform actually supports a part of us is net promoter system, which is a part of our broader strategy of omni-channel feedback, right? So loyalty is being measured, and then whenever customers are not happy, they're actually easily giving you the refund. They are making sure that and do everything, right, to make sure that when the customer is. And once you build that loyalty with the customer, he will come back again and again, keep buying from Amazon, right? So you can just check as like, okay, today Amazon's NPS score is one of the best, right? So they were actually hovering in the range of 70, right? So which is considered to be a great score, right? So basically it's like, okay, the importance of, it's not just survey. It is actually is like an experience platform which will help you to improve every touch point. And once you make sure that on the relationship between you and your customer or you and your employee, every touch point is keep measured, and you will improve in every over the period is like, okay, you measure it, you improve. It's a cycle. It's a closed loop cycle. You measure it, you improve it, again get the feedback, then it has to happen that one. That's the best way to be. So you know, it's like, okay, Amazon from a small bookstore to today is like world's number one company with a $1 trillion market cap, right? So it was never being an overnight success. It's like, okay, they took their 21 year to get into where they are today, right?
Excellent, Shihab. Thank you for sharing those insights, from your experience and about what is happening in the market. And thank you for bringing Amazon as an example, who is striving to give good or very good customer service. So thank you for that. And Shihab, moving on to our next question. Could you please share about the highs in your business venture and for you personally before COVID-19 hit the world?
So one of the best thing is like happened to us. We released this thing, right? So our chat survey. So we got actually our 1,000 customers in 50 days, and and that product also was like an minimum usable product, I would say, or minimum viable product. But still, we need to build a lot. But people were crazily coming and subscribing because that is a new thing which is coming, and everybody was happy about it. Like that was one of the high moment in our business, and yeah, so that may be the best moment.
Excellent. That's very encouraging, Shihab. Very encouraging. And Shihab, moving on to our next question. So when the pandemic hit the US, I mean, a lot of people were just caught unawares because things happen very fast. So when the pandemic hit the US, India, and the rest of the world, what were the steps that you took to mitigate its effect on SurveySparrow?
So actually, before hitting US itself, it was hitting Italy and France. So we had a good share of customers from Europe also. So by almost mid of February itself, we realized that so this is not going to, because our customers from Italy and France, they were actually on the call. They were saying to us is like what is really happening on the ground, right? So they were already into like, okay, too many people without knowing they were being carriers, and then suddenly it's like they were not able to come to office. So all those things were happening in Italy and France. So we also knew that one, if Italy is going through that one, definitely is like, okay, we are not shielded, right? So the only option for us, be ready with that one, right? So what we did is on March 10th, we closed our office, right? So we took us like, okay, 2 weeks, we analyzed how we mitigate things. We were already a company which was highly on as a SaaS company. Obviously, it's like we are a digital first company, and we are using almost all our services as a subscription, right? So which helped our cloud services we are using for almost every place where possible. Be it is you're talking into your customers, be it is you're calling the customers like Ring Central kind of apps. So all the things is like we're already on cloud. That inherently helped us to move faster, and we were always a laptop company, so everybody they were able to work from home even before. But at the same time, we also analyzed is like, okay, what will actually make people to be productive from home, right? So closing the office, or like for a early stage startup, thinking about not working, or thinking about, okay, let's start for 3 months, that's not an option, because that's equal to closing your own business, right? So the only option is how do we do it from home, what we are doing from the office. Then what we did is like we actually put as like one is like when we decided we will deliver the chair and the desk into homes, right? So that they will have a dedicated workplace. The reason for that one, if you have a dedicated workplace, then people will feel like, okay, you have a cutoff between your personal life and your professional thing, right? So that we wanted, and we don't want our employees to burn out also, because unless you know, like, okay, the difference between your personal thing and your official thing, that will lead to, at some point, they will not know what is night and what is day, kind of, right? So that is one thing we did it immediately. Secondly, we actually even did as like, we made sure that everybody is available online, and we were using Slack initially, so we made sure that we made Slack as a virtual office, with even including daily check-ins where people can say that I'm available for anything, right? So call or anything. So we made sure that when that is also done. So and we also gave an option to reimburse the internet bill, so that they don't feel they are using is like, okay, we wanted to make sure that they are being when they work from home, we are giving that option also. So we almost recreated, or we actually moved from a in-office company to almost a remote company in a very short span of time.
Excellent, Shihab. And I think I had the opportunity to look at some of those LinkedIn posts of your staff. They were very happy that you had, sent them that office chair and, the desk and, the laptops, the photos taken by your employees. So, that's such a positive and encouraging thing, because, you saw that what was happening, and you, took those decisions to support your employees. And because you're a SaaS platform, everyone could work from home, creating that space, for them to do that. And, you taking that lead as the founder and the CEO, that is very encouraging and very positive. And I'm sure, all your staff are very happy with those decisions you have made.
Correct, absolutely. So one of the things, like I was telling to my admin team, we should deliver to their home, because instead of giving a reimbursement, the reason being, once the pandemic started moving, people were they're going to be afraid to even get out, because it is initial and too much. The social media and the media was giving too much stories around us, like how it is going to turn out. Right? So we delivered on the doorstep so that they don't need to get out of their home. Right? So that was an amazing work by our admin team.
Good on you, Shihab. Good on you. Shihab, moving on to our next question. Moving forward, what are your plans for SurveySparrow?
We wanted to be the best experience platform to help every businesses to improve the experiences at every touch point. Right? That's the whole vision and mission is like, okay, where we are actually betting on, and we wanted to be doing that one for initially for all mid-market companies. And we wanted to make sure that in every touch point, right? So if you want to if you want to make your company as a brand, so the short way is make sure that on every experiences, be it as employee experience, be it as customer experience, make sure that on every touch point you measure it, you keep improving over the period. Obviously, you will become a brand. It may take a little bit more time, but that's a short way to become a great brand, right? So we wanted to help our customers to be become the brand or Amazons of their own worlds.
Good on you. That is a good tagline. I'm sure all your customers would be very happy to hear that as well. Thank you, Shihab, for sharing that. And moving on to our next question. If you look back to the time from when SurveySparrow commenced operations, what would you have done differently and why?
So one of the things is like, okay, we were we did our first release in 6 months time. And obviously, it's like, okay, we had a lot of things is like, okay, which we would have done to make it a minimum usable product instead of minimum viable product. So I used to tell people the difference between a minimum viable product and a minimum usable product, right? So some of the things is like we're not ready, but obviously we catched up very fast. Obviously, it's like our people were very fast in catching up and delivering those value to the customer. But sometimes it's always better to do a minimum usable product than a minimum viable product. So that is something which I learned on the way, right? So because initially you do all those things is like minimum usable product with a very limited set of people, instead of opening for the entire public, you actually do only for a particular beta people, and then only you can it is better to give it to the entire public. We actually give it to the public very early, right? So that is something is like I could have just made it a little bit more. I could have waited a little bit more and then do the public release at a later.
Thank you, Shihab. I'm sure that topic is a big topic in the entrepreneurial incubation spaces. MVP and what's the product that you need to get out there. I'm sure there would be people on two camps, like debating on that. But thank you for sharing that. And Shihab, moving on to our next question, which is our last question. So, what are the life and business lessons that you would like to share with someone who is planning to start a business or a venture?
One is, if you have a family, make sure that don't degrade their lifestyle because of your startup, right? The reason being, it may be your dream, but at the same time, you cannot ask your family to just for your dream make sure that they will continue the same life style which they used to be, right? Make sure that you have the plan for it. It is like at least for 3 years is like you should have a plan for that one, for them to continue. One. Number two, uh, entrepreneurship is not a jackpot game, right? So obviously you will have to be in for at least willing to do at least 3 to 5 years, right? Because you are starting from almost zero, right? Whereas like you don't have customers, you don't have anything, and there is no reason customers should buy from you just because you built something, or just because like you have a business doesn't mean that one. So they generally don't care much unless it is your um, acquaintance or friends. There is no reason for them to come to you. So make sure that when you are building something which is solving the pain point of your customers, and if they are willing to open, even if it is $1, right? So even if it is $1, if they are willing to open their wallet for you, that means you have a business. These are the 2-3 things I would suggest, because free advice you can get anywhere. Please don't fall for it, because everybody needs is like that thing. But at the same time, if somebody is betting on you, if they are giving you is like this is what we need, this is how it is like, okay, that's much more valuable. And obviously personally, please make sure that your family is safe, right? In the long run, it's journey. Entrepreneurship is not about just it's an amazing journey. Enjoy the journey rather than just thinking about the destination will automatically will come if the journey is something which you enjoy.
Excellent point, Shihab. Like, you come across as a person, to be honest with you. I don't know if you've read the book by Simon Sinek, about that infinite mindset. You know what I mean? So you have entrepreneurs who are in the game for quick bucks, and there are those who are passionate about what they're doing and who are thinking of the long-term goals and strategies. And you come across as a person with an infinite vision. So you are thinking of your family, you're thinking of your staff, you're thinking of your customers, the whole customer experience, and you're thinking of, improving on the services and products as you move forward. So that is very encouraging, you know what I mean? So you're not in it for the short haul, but rather the long haul. So you're not running a sprint, but rather a marathon. So that is very positive and very encouraging. And it's very hard to find business leaders or entrepreneurs of that caliber. So thank you for sharing that journey with me, Shihab. And thank you for also touching on some of the points, like, which is follow your passion. So do something that you're really passionate about. And sometimes, I think in the world out there, we kind of take Jeff Bezos, Amazon, or Bill Gates, or those kind of people as examples. But it's really about your passion, isn't it? You can be an organic farmer who's passionate about that and bring out the best produce, and that gives you happiness. You can be an IT whiz and you have solution for a pain point in the market. You could excel in it. But it's not really, from what you're sharing, it's not really about the monetary gains. It's all about a lot of other things as well. You know what I mean? Your happiness, your family, your customers, and you can find that happiness in any space. You don't really have to be the next SaaS platform. You know what I mean? So thank you, Shihab, for sharing that. It was wonderful to spend some time with you and to hear your story. I wish you the very best with SurveySparrow, and hope we can meet one day, maybe in Australia or in India in the future.
Sure. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. It's like pleasure to be here, and thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Excellent. Thank you, Shihab.